I have visited over 300 theme parks across the globe. This includes almost every major theme park in the United States. I also been to several in Japan, and it did not take long to notice some major differences between those parks and the ones back home. So in this video, I want to point out 25 differences between American and Japanese theme parks. Now these are generalizations, so they will not apply to all theme parks. I am looking at it holistically. These differences can also be appreciated if you're from another region like Europe, the Middle East, or Australia. I am just basing my main comparison off the United States because that is my home country and where a majority of my audience comes from. I will divide this video into 3 sections: the arrival experience, the park operations, and miscellaneous. I will start with the arrival experience. Number 1. Public transit. Parks in Japan are much easier to access via public transit. The country has a very well developed rail system. This can often move you about the country faster than driving. Many trains bring you directly to the theme park, and the ones that don't quite make it often have a connecting bus. Or you can take a short taxi. In the US, you almost always need a car to access a theme park, unless that park is in a major city. Number 2. Ticketing. Many parks in Japan still utilize ticket booths. Tokyo Disney and Universal Studios Japan were the 2 main exceptions where most people had online tickets. And it is worth noting these 2 parks will be the exception for several items in this video. In the US, many parks moved to online ticketing systems, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 3. Security. Many parks in Japan do not have metal detectors or bag checks as you enter the park. This is the standard at most US theme parks now. This is usually the main bottleneck in the morning as people are entering parks, and that is evident at Tokyo Disney, which is one of the few parks in Japan who have a security check. I am all for whatever parks need to do to keep people safe, but in general, crime and disorderly behavior is much less common in Japan. Number 4. Personal belongings. In Japan, you have more freedom with what you can bring into parks. Most US parks ban outside food and drinks. In Japan, people routinely bring snacks, meals, and drinks with them into parks. Further, some US parks have started to ban or restrict bag sizes, especially after some incidents at Halloween events. I have not seen something similar take place overseas. Now let's talk about the park operations. This will cover general park policies and rides. Number 5. Weather in parks. In Japan, parks almost always remain open regardless of the weather. In Japan, employees are full-time and they're paid for their contractual hours. Since the employees get their money regardless, the parks have every incentive to remain open and try to make as much money as possible. In the US, most employees are seasonal workers paid by the hour. Since days with inclement weather have lower attendance, many parks will close early or choose to not even open for cost purposes. Number 6. Weather and rides. In Japan, most outdoor roller coasters will close even in the slightest of rains. The most notable exceptions are at Disney and Universal. So if you are on a trip mixing theme parks and touristy stuff, try to plan your theme park days and days without precipitation. Meanwhile, it is much more common for US parks to run their coasters in rainy conditions. The park may just close, but you'll have limited lines until that happens. Speaking of water, number 7. Ponchos. In Japan, riders more frequently wear ponchos on water rides. Further, many water rides have kiosks or attendants at the end of the queue that will sell you a poncho for a low rate. In the US, ponchos are less common on rides, and if you want to buy one, they are sold at the gift shops versus at the ride itself. Number 8. Ride accidents. In Japan, ride accidents are treated much more seriously. This is because of the public backlash around loss of trust and potential criminal charges from the government. For example, Expoland had a coaster derailment in 2007 that led to a death. That ride never reopened, and the park closed in 2009 due to a massive attendance decrease. In 2021, Dododonpa of Fuji-Q Highland permanently closed after multiple riders broke bones. even though it was potentially caused by improper riding positions. Then both Steel Dragon 2000 in Nagashima Spa-Land and Thunder Dolphin at Tokyo Dome City had bolts fall off during operation, striking guests. Each ride was subsequently closed for 3 years. Meanwhile, the United States is much more receptive to opening rides following accidents, and when they do reopen, they reopen much more quickly. For example, Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England had a brake failure in 2001, where 2 trains collided. It reopened just 2 weeks later. Even crazier, there have been multiple instances where a coaster collided, and the park reopens the coaster the very same day, just using 1 train. Using the logic, you cannot crash a train if there's only 1 train in use. Cedar Point famously did that with Steel Vengeance in 2018 after the ride bumped in the station on opening day. Even if there's a fatal accident, rides will frequently reopen, just often with restraint modifications. For example, New Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas tragically ejected a woman in 2013. The coaster reopened just 2 months later when seatbelts were added. Then more recently, the Haunted Mine Drop at Glenwood Caverns had an unrestrained girl tragically fall to her death. The ride reopened 2 years later with a new theme, updated safety features, and new operating procedures. Number 9. Loose articles. In Japan, loose articles are treated much more seriously due to the focus on safety. So most thrill rides do not allow guests to have anything in their pockets, even if they're zippered or buttoned. The country's most extreme thrill rides verify compliance using metal detectors. In the US, most rides allow guests to keep items in their pockets. Many just make blanket statements advising against loose articles. There have been some instances where items have come loose and struck another rider, but those rides often reopen later that day because it is not directly attributed to the ride itself. That being said, we have seen some major corporate parks in the United States enact strict loose article policies on their largest coasters in recent years. Number 10. Glasses. In Japan, most thrill rides do not allow guests to wear glasses even if they're secured with a strap. Meanwhile, most rides in the United States allow glasses to be worn, especially if they're secured by a strap. Related to wearable items, some Japanese rides go one step further. I have seen a few, particularly the ones at Fuji-Q, require watches, hair clips, and even jewelry to be removed. Number 11. Storing belongings. In Japan, every ride has somewhere to store your belongings for free. This includes smaller loose articles and larger items like bags. Many have bins or lockers. These are usually on the load platform, but a few are positioned late in the queue, and if a ride runs multiple trains, those bins or lockers are often locked for an extra peace of mind. In the United States, a lot of rides have unsecured bins on the load platform. Then a lot of major corporate parks don't even allow anything to be stored in the ride platforms, citing operations. Those items and bags instead often need to go into paid lockers before entering the queue, which has a financial benefit for those parks as well. Number 12. On-ride filming. In Japan, on-ride filming is very limited. This is the case even if you have an action camera secured by a chest or wrist harness. This ties back to their treatment of loose articles. The only rides that typically allow filming are slow observation rides. In the United States, the SeaWorld chain and several independent parks allow filming with action cameras on ride. Number 13. Seating. In Japan, assigned seating is common on most rides. Typically, coasters will assign seats from front to back, no exceptions. Disney is the only place that will typically take row requests. In the United States, most rides allow guests to freely select their own rows, and the few that do have assigned seating will typically take row requests if you ask nicely. Number 14. Restraints. In Japan, rides frequently have additional restraints compared to their counterparts across the globe. This includes changes as simple as an extra restraint cover or pads, but others have extra seatbelts. This ties back to Japan placing a high emphasis on safety. Number 15. Instructions. In Japan, riders are given clear instructions how to ride each attraction. This covers riding behaviors and riding positions. Some parks have employees verbally tell you. Other parks have employees come by with signs or handouts. In the United States, this information is typically just on signage around the attraction versus being directly in your face. Number 16. Dispatch speeds. Tying into their treatment on loose articles, rider badging, restraints, and rider instructions, dispatch speeds in Japan are much slower than what you'd find in the United States and especially Europe. Japanese guests are very patient and understanding of all the extra policies that pertain to safety. Number 17. Ride queues. In Japan, ride queues will close early so the last cycle goes out before park close. So if a ride is a 1 hour wait, expect the queue to close 1 hour early at minimum. Some parks have this policy in the United States, but most will keep queues open right until park close, even if it has a lengthy wait. And parks that do close a specific ride's queue early will typically have a sign warning guests about this. Meanwhile, this is implicitly understood in Japan. Number 18. Park hours. In Japan, most parks are open daily year-round. In the United States, that only happens in warm weather climates, and many seasonal parks will have reduced operating days outside of school vacation periods to save on operational costs. Number 19. Re-entry. In Japan, many parks do not allow re-entry. This is particularly annoying at parks like Universal, where there are shops and restaurants just outside the gate. In the United States, I cannot think of a single theme park that does not allow re-entry most days. And lastly, let's cover some miscellaneous items. Number 20. Haunted walkthroughs. Japan loves haunted walkthroughs. Most parks have at least one of these at their parks year-round. Sometimes they have scare actors inside. Sometimes they just have timed or triggered effects. In the United States, haunts like this are temporary and only available during the Halloween season. Number 21. Giant Ferris wheels. Japan also loves giant Ferris wheels. This is a staple at most theme parks, and it is often the park's tallest ride by far. Ferris wheels in the United States are much smaller. Larger observation wheels like the ones found in Japan are mostly found in touristy areas more than the theme parks. Number 22. Screaming. In Japan, screaming is more common. Typically, Japanese have a cultural practice of maiwaku, which is around avoiding nuisances. This leads to the Japanese being quiet and respectful in most places. That's why their trains, for example, are eerily quiet compared to what you see in other countries. But rides are one place where it's culturally acceptable to be loud in public, so guests take full advantage of this opportunity. Number 23. Eating. In Japan, it is frowned upon to eat or drink while walking. It is viewed as disrespectful and messy. So keep that in mind if you grab finger food while at a theme park. In the US, you would be hard pressed to walk down a midway at a theme park and not spot someone eating or drinking. Number 24. Sightlines. In Japan, guests are much more respectful when it comes to sightlines for parades and fireworks. Those in front will often sit down, so those behind them have a better view. Then you will not see parents putting kids on their shoulders, creating those 7 to 8 foot tall superhumans you cannot see over. The one caveat is if you watch something on a rainy day, most guests will pop open an umbrella. Number 25. Ride merchandise. In Japan, ride merchandise is less widespread, and if it is available, it tends to be more subtle. The most common merchandise is around food and characters. In the US, most parks will have flashy shirts or mugs for the most popular rides, and the larger parks also have more niche items as well, like nano coasters. Those are 25 of the biggest differences I noticed between Japanese and American theme parks. What are your thoughts on this list? Are there any differences you think I missed? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there will be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.